Hello everyone, my name is Alan Kutsia. I'm a licensed immigration advisor at Choose New Zealand, and today we're going to talk about the student visa interview. Now, before we talk about what happens in the interview, we need to talk about whether you will get an interview or not. Now, first we need to answer, what is the interview about? Well, the interview for a student visa application is to find out more about your own genuine intentions and your thoughts and opinions. Now, they're not going to talk to you and ask questions about your funds. They will only talk about your intentions for wanting to study the course. Now, some people are not clear. They think that everyone gets interviewed. That's not quite true. Most people will not get an interview in their student visa application. They will either get approved or declined without ever speaking to an immigration officer. However, getting interviewed is not rare either. So basically, in summary, there's three possible outcomes in your visa application. You might get approved without interview, you might get declined without an interview, or you might get an interview which determines whether your application is approved or declined. So, how do immigration officers decide who to interview and who not to interview? Well, it's not random, but it is definitely up to their own personal opinion. They might want to clarify certain points in your statement of purpose or SOP that were a little bit unclear in places. Other times, your SOP might actually look too good to be realistic. For example, if a 19-year-old writes an SOP that looks like it was written by a 40-year-old, the immigration officer might suspect that you used an agent to write the SOP or maybe AI, and they will interview you to find out if you're really as smart as your SOP says you are. Now, some people think that it's a bad thing if you get an interview from Immigration New Zealand. Now, that's not true at all. First of all, it means that your application is very close to getting approved. Doesn't mean that it will, it depends how well you do on the interview, but if your application was weak, you would not get an interview at all. You would get declined. So it can be actually a good thing to be interviewed, but of course, it's even better if you get approved with no interview at all. And to do that, it's a good idea to make sure you have clear evidence, clear goals and intentions written in your SOP. That way, you can have a smooth process right to approval of your student visa application. So now we're going to talk about what happens in the interview. If you get that call from Immigration New Zealand, what should you expect? Now, how long does the interview last? Usually, it takes around 20 to 30 minutes to interview a student. If the interview is really short, like 5 or 10 minutes, it might actually be a bad sign that they've already decided to decline you after just a few sentences of conversation. But it does vary from immigration officer to immigration officer and from student to student. Now, how will Immigration New Zealand contact you? If you're lucky, they'll send you an email inviting you to an online video call. And that's great news because it means you can kind of mentally prepare for the interview itself and you won't be caught unprepared. Most students are not that lucky though. They will get a random phone call from a New Zealand phone number starting with +64, that's the New Zealand calling code. And it'll come usually in the morning hours if you are living in Asia. That's simply because of the time differences between New Zealand and countries like India, Nepal and Sri Lanka. So make sure while you're waiting for your visa application to be processed, try to make sure that you wake up early, keep your phone off of silent, because if you miss that interview call, it could have a negative impact on your application. Now we come to the part which I'm sure you are most curious about. What questions will you be asked by Immigration New Zealand? Now, it might feel like I'm about to give you the questions of an exam and help you cheat, but that's actually not true because the questions are really predictable, okay? That's good news for you. They will ask you questions like, what got you interested in this subject? Why did you choose this education provider? How was this subject related to your background? What are your future plans after graduating? These are all the types of conversations you might ask someone at a dinner party, aren't they? That's why I say the interview is a conversation, it's not an oral exam. Now you might think, some people do fail the interview. They get interviewed, they get asked these simple questions, and yet they still get declined. How is it possible to fail an interview when the questions are so basic? The reason is that your answers are more important than the questions themselves. Your answers should be detailed and personalized. Make sure you say at least 2 or 3 sentences per question, and always explain your statements. For example, don't just say, I chose this course because I'm interested in this subject. That's not good enough. You have to say why you're interested in the subject and give examples from your own past and present circumstances that made you become interested in the subject. As long as you remember the interview is a conversation about a topic you're an expert in, then you will do fine. What is the topic? The interview is about you. So, what's my number one tip for acing the immigration interview? It is to relax and be yourself, because it is a conversation about you and what you think. As long as you remember that, you will do fine in the interview. If you'd like to find out more, contact us at Choose New Zealand. Thanks everyone, and see you next time.